Hey guys, so I'm sitting here and I'm talking to myself, and the Lord began to drop some stuff in my spirit. And this is titled, This is Not Happening to You, but for You. So many times things happen in our life and we begin to question God. And I know I do, like, Lord, what did I do? Did I not pray hard enough? Did I not seek you enough? Like, what's going on? That how did I get to this point in my life? Like, what's going on? Why is this happening? Like, why is life going in a complete circle? And it seems like everything is just continually spiraling out of control. And every time that I get to a high, I get knocked back down. And God is like, this is not happening to you, but this is happening for you. This is happening to push you into another realm, to get you to another level, for you to seek me more than you seek me before. And there are times that we get so discouraged because certain things happen to us and we can't explain it. We don't understand it. And we want an explanation for why things happen. Like, why did this happen? Why did I have to be in this season or to go through this trauma, the situation? And sometimes we get so defeated with the why that we don't look at the situation as a blessing. And lately, I've been going through some of the roughest time, but it wasn't as rough as I thought it would be. I had made a decision in my mind that I was going to set out to do something, and it was freeing and it's something that I needed to do. And, I didn't ask like why, I wasn't like stumped at why this was happening to me. I was like, okay, what do I need to learn in this situation? What do I need to take away? Like, what is this experiencing teaching me? And this experience taught me how to remain true to who I am, to remember who God told me I was, and never to let anybody make me doubt who that was or is. And just to remember that things happen in life. Life isn't perfect. I'm not perfect. I want situations to be perfect, and I want this happy picket white picket fence life, and that's just not what it is. But God has just let me know it's not happening to me. It's happening for me. It's happening to make me stronger, to make me grow, just to push me into Him, to learn more, to study more. You know, I don't think I've ever asked for so much forgiveness for disobedience than I have in this season. I mean, dating back for years, I'm like, God, just forgive me for not being obedient when you told me to do this or when you told me to do that. I didn't understand. I was so caught up in my own distress that I didn't listen. I didn't obey. I didn't trust you because all I could see was what was before me. And I was like, Lord, I sinned so greatly. Like, all I need you to do is just forgive me. Like, forgive me of my sin. And before, for my disobedience, I used to think that God was just creating these monstrous storm to like pay me back for disobedience. But then I just had to get to a point where He wasn't paying me back and He wasn't scolding me. But what happened was, because of my disobedience, the route to get where He wants me to be is just taking a little bit longer. It's not a scolding, it's just a lesson. And I'm realizing now that it's taking me a little longer to get to the destination because I had to take a different route because I didn't follow my GPS. I wasn't paying attention, and I wasn't obedient to what He was telling me. And I'm not saying that everything I was disobedient, but there are some things that God told me to do, and I was so bogged down with hurt and anger that I didn't listen. And, it cost me some stuff, but now I realize that it wasn't God like maliciously saying, okay, because you didn't do this, I'm going to allow this to happen. He was like, well, you chose a path and you got off the road that I had created. Now I'm going to get you to that destination, but it's just going to take a little bit longer. So this is not happening to you. It's happening for you. I was on Instagram That's the only social media I didn't log out of because I like my inspirational quote. And I was on Chad Johnson page, and it was back about a Christmas post, but it was talking about Joseph and how, oh, well, you got a fiance, she's pregnant, the baby is not yours, but it's going to be okay. So I can only imagine a young boy like Joseph being in engaged, about to be married, and his fiance telling him, hey, guess what? I'm pregnant. This baby ain't yours. I've never been touched by a man. And, God came down and he told me he was going to impregnate me. And, I was going to have this miracle baby. Imagining feeling like, oh my God, how is this happening to me? Can you imagine the embarrassment he may have felt to be a young boy and never touched his fiance, but here she's pregnant and now you're the father. So it wasn't happening to him, but this was happening for him. Lo and behold, they didn't know that they were about to be parents to the greatest son of the world. So I just looked at that a little while ago and I just began to think, like, this isn't, when God put that in my spirit, this isn't happening to me, this is happening for me. We think about Paul and Silas and being thrown into the jail, and, we hear about them praying at the midnight hour. This wasn't happening to them. This was happening for them, because when they started praying and dancing and shouting unto the Lord, the jail's door flew open and the chains was broken. But not only that they set themselves free, they set everybody who was in jail free. So it wasn't happening to them, it was happening for them, because not only that they got released, these other prisoners got released too. So I just have to remember, this is not happening to me, this is happening for me. There's a release that needs to happen. There's a birth that needs to be taking place. There's a glory that needs to happen. And imagine being the father to the greatest son of all. Just imagine that. And just imagine if you were in prison with Paul and Silas, and that magical moment at midnight, and your shackles broke free and the doors open and you were able to leave. Imagine at that moment how freeing that must have felt to those prisoners, and how honored it was to be in their presence. So it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening to them. It was happening for them, because those prisoners needed them. They needed them in order to be released. And I just think that we get so bogged down in saying this is happening, but we all can have a midnight experience. We all know that weeping may endure for the night. Joy comes in the morning. And there are times when we just get so defeated by the circumstance and the situation that we don't see the joy that's coming. I didn't get the best of news today. I think the news that I got was a little bit devastating, because it wasn't something I wanted to hear. And, I didn't dwell on the negative as I normally would. I would normally feel so defeated and like, God, why? And, I fell asleep and I took a nap and I got back up and God began to speak to me. And nowhere during the time that I got that call, up until this point, that I've allowed myself to feel anyway defeated. And I was just like, Lord, this is just a time for a new beginning in so many areas of my life. Like, I'm having so many new beginnings, but I don't mind them. I don't mind the starting over process, because every time I start over, I've learned something from before. So I'm gaining so much knowledge and so much information, and just like, okay, God, you're saying this is not happening to me, but it's happening for me. That is for my greater good, that all things are working together. And I just understand now why. Like, I understand why that I needed to go through some of the things that I went through, and it just made me stronger. And there are people that are looking at me and thinking, oh my God, like, she's so strong, like some like know what I'm going through, and they're like, oh, she's so strong, like she has a smile on her face. And I thank God, because I had gotten to a point where I no longer will let a situation beat me down. Like, you're not going to get the best of me anymore. I've had enough of those days. Like, I had a day on Sunday where I was beating myself down, and and I was like, oh God, I'm not going to be here any longer. Like, I'm not going to allow myself to continue to beat me up when I know what you have given me. So I just want to encourage somebody, that this is not happening. This is not happening to you, but it's happening for you. Like, these seasons and situations and circumstances that we go through, we're only going through them so God can push us into his arms. Number one, to seek him, to seek his righteousness, to seek his face, to seek him out, to pray more, to spend more time with him. Like, God, what is this season right now? What is this season called? And this season is called go and grab it. And I can't go and grab anything without seeking the Lord, seeking his righteousness, seeking him, wanting to be the best version of me that I can possibly be, being the woman who he's called me to be, being that girl that he said, I called you. Like, I want you. 9 years ago, he was like, I want you. I anointed you, and I want you to do a work for me. And even though I didn't feel worthy, and there's days that in the past years, I still didn't feel worthy of such an honor to be called and anointed by God, like to be picked out to say, hey, I got something that I want you to carry. Like just like Mary, he picked her, and, he impregnated her with such a beautiful baby boy. Like, God chose her to carry his son, and God chose me to carry this girl. And it's been difficult, and it's been rough. And there are times that I was like, Lord, you chose the wrong person. I don't have what it takes. I don't have what it takes to do the work that you've called me to do, because the magnitude of what he put inside me is so much bigger than who I am. And I didn't realize that. I thought it was all about me and the promise. But I'm just realizing it was never about me. Never about me. And I know that may sound crazy to finally realize that, but I wanted it to be about me. And it was never about me. It was always about the movement and what God was doing in me. But I was so self-absorbed and wrapped up in me, in this world, and social media and an image, that I forgot that it was never about me. I was seeking to please man, but never seeking to please God. I was wanting to look astute, to look like all put together, to look like I had it all together, just to look like this young girl that God called and he anointed. And I just wanted to look a certain way and be a certain way. I just wanted to be looked upon, to finally be accepted. And all this time, I've been doing life wrong for the last years. And I know some people are like, well, why didn't you get that? God spoke to you. But there was something that God needed me to learn. And he had to have me go through so many different challenges and stories to have a testimony until he allowed me to learn. He had to teach me that this was never about you. You kept making it about you. But what I was doing is allowing you to know this is only for you. The heartache, the disappointment, the rejection, all of this was not happening to you, but it was happening for you. It was to mold you and shape you and to create you into the woman that I have called. It was never about candy. It was never about you as a woman or as a person, but it was you, the called, the gift, and the anointing. It was about learning to operate in the gift, the calling, and the anointing. It was learning to put who you want to be, who you thought you should be, and who you really are on the back burner. And it was really realizing that you just couldn't do life without me. You can't. You can't possibly think that life could go any other way without me. And I'm not saying that you put me aside. I'm saying that you can't do this move without me. You can't go no further than what I let you, but you also have to be able to learn and obey. And it's a season of growth. It's a season of just growing, learning, and just moving on in life to the next step, the next level, the next elevation. This isn't happening to you. This is happening for you, because it is shaping you, molding you, and creating you into the person that who God has called you to be. It may seem like you're defeated. It may seem like all hope is lost. It may seem that there's no turnaround. It may seem like you've been on this road long enough. But this journey is meant to be enjoyed. This journey is meant to be taken one day at a time. This journey is meant to be enjoyed and lived through. So no, those rough moments aren't easy. And they're definitely tiring, exhausting, and a lot of whys. And why didn't I work? Well, why I don't have this life? Why my life don't look like an Instagram life, or what, like those social media influencers, or why these things are happening. And they're not happening to you, but they're happening for you, because they make your character. They make who you are. They shape you. So when you're going through something so rough and it seems like all hope is lost, do not give up. Do not turn your back on God. And I've done that so many times, so I can say that, like, things happen and I get mad for days and I'm like, oh my God, like, why am I here? And then God is like, okay, you're already done pouting, you're already down being a kid, you're already done throwing a tantrum. Now that I have your attention, let me tell you what I need to tell you. And he'll tell me whatever, and I'll pick myself up, or I'll wallow in it some more and just ignore what he's telling me and just live in more disobedience. And and I just continue to be like, well, you allowing this to happen, and you don't care about me, and you don't love me, or you saw the future, you knew this was going to happen, you could have prevented it, you could have done this, you could have done that, you could have forewarned me about what's going on, you could have given me a glance or whatever, or what was about to happen. And God was teaching me that, you always want to see so much. You want to see in the future. You want to see this. You want to see it before it happens. And you want me to protect you. And you don't want to go through things. But it was not about that. It wasn't about trying to break you down or cause any heartache, or cause you to feel like you weren't good enough or you weren't worthy. But I needed to create you and mold you. And this was the only way. How could I make you strong and take you to another level on a platform where you needed to be if you couldn't handle rejection at this level? If you couldn't handle people talking about you at this level? I had to make your skin tough. I had to give you tough skin. I had to give you the tools that's necessary for the elevation. So I know, there's some people out there that's just wanting maybe a good job. Like, I know there's some women out there that's wanting that happy-go life with the white picket fence, and they want a marriage, and they want this, and things aren't going for them. So they're wondering why this is happening to me. But God is like, I'm molding you, and I'm creating you to have a tough skin, and I'm creating you to be the woman your husband needs you to be. And, for me, I am not the ultra sensitive girl. I'm not all about that fluffy emotional stuff. I'm just not her. Like, people think, like, I've had dudes say, like, you are straight up a dude. And I'm like, just life just taught me to always protect myself. So I always had a guard up. I wasn't that girl when I saw my dude, like, oh my God, my dude here, like, oh my God, I'm gonna give you a hug and a kiss and run to you. And that wasn't me. I look at you and I might dap you up or something. So that wasn't me. I didn't have that feminine sense. And I prayed about it, and I was like, oh, I don't have that. Like, I built such a tough exterior that I don't know how to be soft when it comes to a man. So God had to mold me to be that woman, because that's somebody I wanted to be. So it was such a learning process, because I can love on so many people, but to show that affection to the opposite sex was just something that I did not know how to do, because I built up such a wall of defense for years after being hurt repeatedly, that I didn't know how to let that wall come down. I didn't know how to be that woman that a dude needed. I could be your ride or die, but I didn't know how to give you that emotional support that you needed. So, I had to learn to pray and ask God to give me that. And that comes with time and age and wisdom. And it comes with growing and learning and knowing who you are, and knowing your areas and your flaws, and what you need to grow and learn in. So certain things wasn't happening to me, they were happening for me. So, I thank God for the heartaches and the disappointment. And, I thank God for the ex that did me wrong and hurt me. And, at one point I used to hate them and wish them bad. And God had me to forgive people. Oh my God. God had me to forgive people who wasn't even sorry for the things that they done to me. But I had to go to them, and I had to take the accountability and responsibility for the things that they had done to me. And, I thank God for teaching me that, because it taught me that it doesn't matter what somebody did to you. Forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. So I had to forgive people who did me wrong. And then when I did somebody wrong, I had to ask for their forgiveness. And, I just thank God. I just thank God. I just thank God, because last year, right before Christmas, he had me to text 3 people and ask them for forgiveness. I'm talking about people who did me so wrong, and two had cursed me out so bad that I should have never even ever spoken to them again. And, God had me to ask them for forgiveness. These were somebody who did me wrong. People who I love, and they had done me wrong. But God had made me go to them and ask for forgiveness. And we have such a just and all right God. And I just thank him, because that taught me so much. That taught me that it's okay to take accountability. It's okay to ask for forgiveness. It's okay to say, you know what? I know that this other person does not see their wrong, will never see their wrong. But in order for me to move on, I just have to ask for forgiveness. Because guess what? Even though I didn't curse them out, I played a part. I played a part after the anger was there. So I could have turned and walked away and accept what was happening. But no, this pink tornado, gave him back word for word, and, rude and disrespectful and cursing and carrying on. So I asked for forgiveness, and I didn't blame, and I didn't name the situations, and I didn't say, well, you started it. I just was like, just please forgive me. I played like, I forgive me. This is what I did. I'm sorry. I should have never done it. And please just forgive me. So I had to learn that in this walk of life, there's going to be times that you're just going to have to eat some stuff, suck it up, ask for forgiveness, ask God to forgive you, ask the person to forgive you, and keep it moving, because it's all shaping me into the person I am today. If you were to know what I was going through for the last month, and you were to see me now, and you would be like, gosh, she just does not care. And it's not that I don't care. It's not that I just can't give life to situations that's killing me. I can't put myself in the position to compromise my peace or happiness anymore. So I'd rather just be done with situations that's going to cause me to be distracted, that's going to cause my mind to be boggled down, to be worried, to lose sleep, to overeat, because I'm not that girl that don't eat when she's depressed. I'm an overeater. And, over the years, I've gained 50 pounds just by all the circumstance that's been going on and the disappointment. But it's just time. It's not only time to remember that all things work out together for the good of them that love the Lord and who's been called according to his purpose. But it's just time to remember that the Lord loves you. It's time to remember that, okay, yeah, this happened. Okay, all right, it happened. Move on. There's some things that we can prevent and some things we can. And, we want this microscope and we want a telescope where we can look into the future to prevent hurt and heartache and disappointment and job loss and spouse loss and children loss and family loss and all the losses, losing possessions, losing things that we have gained. We want a telescope. We want to look into the future and be like, okay, well, this is about to happen and prevent it. But this is in back to future. God, you can't go into the future and stop what's going to happen. Trust me, you can't do it. We don't want to go through those bad moments, but we want all the good time. We want when people love us and life is good and the relationships are good and the children are doing what we want them to do and the job is good and our co-workers good and life is good and we're laughing and we're smiling and we're taking trips and we're taking vacations. But when the blows happen, we don't want to experience that because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. And we want to skip that part of life. Trust me, if I could, I would have. But it only shaped me into the person I am at this very moment speaking to you. Yeah, it's not what I wanted it to be. And my life at this present time, at this very moment, is truly not what I would have wanted to be, expected to be, thought it would be. But I'm on this journey and I won't turn around and go back for anything. And, I can honestly say, yeah, I wish that things had turned out differently and I wish things were a little bit different. But I'm not going to wish that anymore. And I'm not going to wish that things was a little bit different. Because if it was, then who would I be at this moment? If things didn't go the way it had gone. If I wasn't rejected, if I wasn't hurt, if people hadn't turned their back on me, if people hadn't walked away, if I didn't have a rough time at work or had people not like me, where would I be right now? If I didn't have minimal supporters or minimal people pushing me and saying, I believe in you, where would I be? Because guess what? All those things push me even more now to go harder. And I just thank everybody who played a hand in it. Like, I thank you all, I thank you for the ex-fiance who did me wrong. I thank you, I was so in love with somebody who didn't value me as a person, as a woman, as somebody who's been there for them. And, he hurt me tremendously. And, experiencing that hurt was like a blow. But guess what? I was able to go to him and I said, you know what? I forgive you. I forgive you. Bewilderment, craze, look in his eyes like, what are you talking about? But I forgive you. I forgive you. And I do. I forgive you and I still love you. And I still wish the best for you. And I still pray for you. Because guess what? All you did was to make me the person who I am today. So for every disappointment, for every hurt, for everything, I just thank God. Like, because it was not happening to me, it was happening for me, but I didn't realize that. I didn't see that. I didn't see that in those past seasons, in those past years, and I didn't see that at the moment, and I didn't feel it at the moment. But now that I'm here and I can say, you know what? Haha, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is just a new beginning. And I'm just happy. And I hope somebody is encouraged to know that things are going to happen. Trust me, it is. And you can either do two things. You can either grow and learn, or you can feel defeated and ashamed. You got a choice. It happens. Hurt, disappointment, and rejection is going to happen. Things are going to not go the way that you had planned in your mind. But it's okay. Take it one day at a time. Take it one moment at a time. Take it 1 second at a time and build the mind. Build your mind. Build your mind. Just tell yourself that this is not happening to me. This is happening for me. It's all working together for the greater good. It's all working out. It's all working together. God loves me. God loves me. God loves me. He didn't do this to me. He didn't cause this to happen to me. He caused this to happen for me. He loves me. He loves me. I am great. I'm beautiful. I'm successful. I'm accomplished. Say these things to yourself. Say, I am a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. Say the things that you are. I'm not defeated. I'm going to go forth. Don't let the happening destroy the anointing. It may be happening, but it's not destroying who you are. Allow it to shape you, mold you, and create you into the person that God has called you to be. Allow these life lessons to push you harder than it ever pushed you before, and just encourage yourself. Things happen, but we got to remember that God is so much greater than the disappointment and the hurt and the setback. Just go with the flow, but don't ever, ever, ever forget to grow. Don't forget to grow. That's all I can say, because you got to grow. Grow from a circumstance. Don't let it break you. Let it grow you. It's not happening to you, but it's happening for you. Be encouraged. This is Elizabeth and Candy. I like my Candy J. I miss it so much. God changed my name. But, yeah. I'm signing off, but this won't be the last time that you hear from me. Be encouraged. I love you all so much. And I'll be continually praying for you as you pray for me. Pray for my strength in the Lord. Pray for the strength that I can continue to grow stronger in wisdom and understanding and knowledge, and that for God to continue to elevate me to a level that I've never been before, and to achieve the heights that He's called me to, and to push me, God. Push me. Just pray for me, God. Y'all, pray for me. Keep me covered. Keep me covered under the blood. Keep me covered. And just continue to go with me on this journey. I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm on a path, and I know that I'm going to get there. I don't know when, and I don't know how, but not I. We will get there together. Be blessed, and I love you all.